on Race Room Racing Experience. Welcome to Marco's channel. We are just now finishing up or beginning our qualifying for a 15-minute race we've got coming up for you next. Our racers today will be Grief. We're gonna call him. He's number 15. We'll just call him Grief for this. We have Hunter both racing the number 15 Red Bull cars. We got Marco racing in the number 12 Master car. And we have Nicole racing in the number 5 car. I can't tell the sponsor from this angle. Total car. Thank you, Nicole. It's a nice warm morning out here for racing. The practice took place mostly during early morning hours. Sun's just now starting to come up out of the clouds, and it's starting to heat up the track. Right now, the conditions are pretty cool. We're sitting at approximately, last we checked, it was sitting at about 67 degrees in the air. Track temperature was sitting about the same at 69. So pretty cool tracks at the moment. Drivers gonna have a little bit of trouble keeping their traction if they try to push it too hard. So we're gonna see some very reserved racing here today. The race itself is not scheduled to take place until about noonish. So this track will be heated up more. So we're gonna see how their tactics are gonna change from the qualifying period towards the actual race. We got a few drivers online with us right now. We're gonna pull them up via their headsets. Let's go ahead and start with our last race winner. Grief, you there?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey Grief, how you doing? Glad you got to come out today. So this is a track that you've ran on before, that you've won on before, in a different variant. How's it feel compared now that you're racing early in the morning with this cold track? How's it affecting your driving?
Definitely a lot more slick. I don't know, it's really slick.
What do you have any plans on going into this, on how you're going to handle this? I mean, you know it's going to heat up a little later on. It's going to involve a lot of changing your tactics up as you go. What's going through your mind out there?
I don't know. Just going to send it, see what happens.
We'll see what happens. All right. Well, considering you won the last race on a track similar to this one, does that boost your confidence at all? Do you feel like you know this track, or is it a whole new experience with this weather?
I definitely know it, but anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Those are the famous words. All right, well, we're going to let you go ahead and get back to qualifying. Right now, you are sitting second place. So says my standards. Whether or not you've placed the time, I cannot tell.
About to do it here in a second.
Got it. All right. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next driver, Nicole, driving for the number 5 Total car. Nicole, can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. I see you're getting a little close to someone there on the broadcast. If it gets too much, just let me know. Vintage just finished his first lap. Sorry to cut this off. Grief finished his first lap at 1 minute 30.644 seconds. So congrats to Vintage with a really good lap. So Nicole, your last race was not exactly what you were expecting it to be. It was kind of stressful, you could say. It was short-lived. You had a good run, but it kind of fell through at the end. What's your plan this time? What are you going to change in this race compared to last race?
This race, I'm definitely going to be a little bit more careful. My driving, last race I bumped into Grief quite a few times, but I got second, so I'm not too disappointed. But this race, I need to be a little bit more careful, be with a little bit sliding, but we'll see how it goes around new time when the track's a little bit more heated up. So I don't really know what to expect quite yet, but I'm gonna try to be a little bit more careful, see what happens.
Do you plan on taking more of an aggressive or passive stance? Because you were really aggressive last race, and a lot of people said that actually contributed to a lot of your spin-outs, was that aggressiveness. Is that going to change at all here? Do you believe you'll still be just as aggressive, or are you going to take it easy? What's your plan here?
I think I'm going to take it easy for most parts, but I'll be aggressive when I need to be, or it depends on what my standings are. If I feel like I need to be a little bit more aggressive, I'll definitely do that, but if I feel like I'm doing alright, I'll be a little bit more easy.
Alright, well, we got a lot of people out there watching, wishing you luck today.
I bet they
I've seen social media is lit up with, they're going crazy about you. All right, we're gonna wish you good luck on your qualifying.
Thank you.
And we'll talk with you once more before the race. Hunter Cunningham currently sitting at second place with the qualifying with a time of 1 minute 43.923 seconds. Can you hear me, man?
Yeah, I can.
There you are. All right, so Hunter, you're pretty new to this racing series. What experience do you have on this track? What are you bringing with you from past experience?
Really just practice races. I haven't really had much experience, haven't had much races to do. This is my really actual first competitive racer.
Oh, we're glad to hear it. Glad we could be your first event, man. So out here, how do you feel about these conditions? 'Cause the track is nice and cool at the moment, and it is a bit slippery, as you probably noticed.
Yeah,
What's your thoughts on that?
Compared to previous tracks that I practiced on, you can really tell the difference between all of just how it's slick this morning. But that's easy work around. Just take a little more passive approach and try to see if I can make it around the corners without spinning out.
Are you noticing any difference from when you were taking your practice laps earlier compared to the qualifying?
Slightly. I can tell that it's a little more smooth on it. I was taking the turns a little better, but this morning, definitely during practice, it was very slick, and there's quite a few spin outs between all the participants.
What can the viewers expect to see from you, considering this will be your first real televised race? What kind of style are you bringing into it?
I would say semi-aggressive. I'm gonna try to push it around what I can, but really this is gonna be my first kind of try to figure it out, so it might be a little passive for the most part.
All right, man. Well, we're wishing you luck, and a lot of people want to see the rookie out there get his first win. All right, we're gonna carry on to our last driver, Marco. Marco, can you hear me?
Currently hearing you. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. We got you right here on the cameras. Looks like you're heading to pit. So you were the favorite to win last week at our last race, but it fell through all at the end. Is that holding any weight coming onto this race?
Not at all, man. You just got to bring on what you know how to do best and just anticipate the race better now that you know the drivers. Just do the same thing you always do, anticipate your turns, go ahead and play everything by the book, and you should be good.
What are you going to do differently this time? I mean, was it, do you think you did it right last time, but it just got out from underneath you, or what?
Well, I played my cards kind of wild. I decided to pit last moment, whereas every other driver decided to pit early on, which is a good strategy. If you do what I do, you got to do it right. If you're not playing your cards the way you should, you're gonna end up doing what I did, and it'll cost you the race.
Now, you mentioned pitting. They changed up the times a little bit now with the 15-minute race. The pit window may be open a little bit larger. Do you still plan on keeping that same pit strategy of pitting late?
Honestly, we're going to try to play it up different right now. I'll try to pit as early on as I can. Talking with my crew, they think it's a better strategy. But we'll see how it goes. Just whatever the race pans out to be, we'll do with that what we do.
Excellent. Well, we're looking forward to you. You have the experience, you have the know-how. It just seems like luck tends to get away from you if you believe in it. You got a lot of people rooting for you, and we're going to wish you good luck.
Awesome. See you out there.
See ya. All right, so now that we've checked in with all our drivers, qualifying has just officially ended. The timer just ran out, so all drivers are going to be heading back to their pits to make any adjustments that they may need to make, as well as any minor tactic changes. So we're going to go out there and talk with some of the drivers regarding their times. So we're going to go ahead and start off with Grief. Grief, you've positioned well on the pole. You're first place right now. How are you feeling about practice and qualifying?
Qualifying was pretty good. Track actually felt better than I thought it'd be towards the end. I don't know. It was I don't know. All around, it was pretty good.
Well, earlier in the morning, we had the clouds were covering the sun. Right now, it's actually shining pretty well. Track temperature said to increase up to about 74, 75-ish. Is that something you're looking forward to?
Oh yeah, it's gonna add more grip, and I don't know, just all around better speeds for everybody.
All right. Well, if you're happy, we're happy. We're gonna wish you luck. We'll talk to you after the race, man. Good luck.
All right.
moving on to Nicole now. Nicole, you failed to place a time. How did you feel about practice and about qualifying? Is there anything you learned from the track while you were out there?
I learned it wasn't too well in the morning because definitely messed up all those times because of the traction wasn't too well.
Are you feeling any difference right now? Now that the track's heated up a bit?
I definitely feeling because I should have slid out. What felt like earlier I should have slid out, but I caught my grip just a second ago, and it definitely feels a lot smoother for me.
Does that mean you're going to try pushing it a little more than you normally would from this morning?
Again, depends on where I'm standing in the race. If I'm feeling aggressive, but it's feeling pretty nice right now, so I might have a little bit of an aggressive edge to me.
All right, glad to hear the track's doing better for you. We're going to go ahead and pass on to the next person. We're going to wish you luck in the race.
Thank you.
We'll see you out there. All right, Hunter Cunningham in the Red Bull number 15
What's
car.
up?
How you doing again?
Feeling a lot better about it right now.
Yeah, earlier this morning it was a bit cooler than we expected, and now with this heat coming through, the track's feeling a lot nicer. Have you noticed any difference?
I felt a lot better around some of the turns. There's still some that I'm a little bit iffy on that I've already had a little different experience on, but it's been a lot better.
What do you think of your practice and qualifying runs? Were they what you wanted them to be, or do you see some adjustments you need to make?
Practice run was not bad. Well, the qualifying run was not bad. Like, there's some aggressive parts that I can now adjust to, considering that I have, since the track is warmed up and I now have more grip, it's definitely gotten a lot better. So I'm really looking forward to how my times are going to turn out in the race.
Do you feel like your time improved as you went on with the track heating up?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely going to improve.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Well, good luck out there in the race. We'll talk to you after.
Thank you.
All right, I'd like to go ahead and give out our sponsors really quickly. This race is sponsored by Race Room Racing Experience. Without them, we wouldn't be here. They've set up a fantastic track for us, giving us all a fantastic opportunity to come out here and race on this beautiful morning. I want to go ahead and thank all our racers for coming out today. No one had to be here. They wanted to be here, and we're sure in for a good race. Absolutely. I want to thank Red Bull for going ahead and sponsoring two of our vehicles out here today, 50%. They've done a lot to bring some of these vehicles here, and they were some of the best running vehicles today with track time. So Red Bull, we want to go ahead and thank them. We're going to thank YouTube for giving us the streaming capabilities to bring you these videos. We're going to thank everybody out there for watching the upcoming race, and we want to thank all of our crew back here at the broadcasting station for making this possible. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to our last racer, who right now, Marco, actually just placed the fastest practice lap at 1 minute 41.831 seconds. We're going to try to bring him up over radio.
How you doing?
Hey, Marco, we just saw you put in your fastest lap so far. How are you feeling about that?
Well, I'm just getting a feel for the track now, coming into these turns, anticipating them as I should, and starting to feel a little bit more grip around the tires.
That's good. We're seeing it looks like you're running a lot more stable out there so far. It seems like you're still taking those turns a bit aggressive. I know you mentioned a bit earlier that aggressive feel was going to only come in when it's needed, but do you still feel like you're playing a little too aggressive?
Well, the weather's playing a factor in the way I'm racing right now, and I'm starting to get a better feel for it. I just really want to get aggressive with the turns. I can kind of push it. I know I can get a few guys in these turns out here. That's what I'm planning right now.
How do you feel about your qualifying and practice runs? Do you feel like they helped you out getting the feel out here? Are you comfortable with the runs?
I'm feeling a lot more comfortable now, actually, than I was in the morning, to be honest.
I'm assuming that track is making a difference. As you said earlier, that warmer track's got to help out a lot.
Oh, definitely, as always.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys get to your races. It's about time for everyone to line up, so I'm wishing you all luck. And may the best driver win.
Let's have a good race.
Good luck.
Good luck.
All right. Race fans, welcome to Delta Racing Experience. We've got our Delta Racing events, excuse me. We are lined up right now with Grief in first, Hunter second, Nicole started third, Marco started fourth. But with an early jump, Nicole has already taken second place as we're at green flag, under green flag here at our raceway. Already with a very strong start, we got Grief slowly pulling ahead. It looks like he's about 2.5 seconds, maybe 3 seconds ahead of Nicole, who's holding our second place. Marco just made a run for third. Nicole chooses to stay on the outside on the turn, cuts the second one on the inside. We're following her right now. Let's go ahead and pull up some stats. Driver info, she's running about 120 kilometers, sticking around that second and third gear, not really pushing. Oh, it looks like Marco got into the back of her a little bit. Probably anticipating her to move, but it did not happen. She looks to be staying around that third, fourth gear. She's definitely not being aggressive with the gears. She's playing them high up, keeping it in the 3s, 4s. Marco gets the pass on the inside from Nicole, placing Marco in second place. Nicole gets into the wall a little bit, but she's able to get out. But Marco is not able to hold on as he comes into the turn, a little too aggressive, gets loose, and heads into the wall. Go ahead and pull our cameras back to Hunter right now, who's lagged a bit behind. He seems to have had an altercation with the wall a little bit earlier. Pulling up the stats. Right now, him compared to Marco, who is third and fourth. Hunter is 7.6 seconds behind Marco. He's hitting speeds up at the top of 130 as he gets loose again and spins out. Looks like he's hitting these turns a little too aggressive, maybe not coming in with enough brake, maybe too much speed. These drivers have to remember that so far this is an early race. You're not going to have that grip that you need because you have not warmed up those tires yet. I'm expecting a lot of the drivers here to take it a bit more reserve until we get about halfway through this race. Mandatory pit stops are currently in effect, and we will notify you once those go up. For those of you who do not know the rule, with mandatory pit stops, you are required to make a pit stop with at least a 4-tire change once pits are open. It is required. If you do not, you will drop into last place, depending on where you finish. If 2 people don't do it, it'll go off standings. Right now, Hunter is currently losing in gain. He's trying to get a run on Marco, but it looks like he's kind of struggling to keep that grip with those the cold tires at the moment. I'm not sure the tire compound they're running, but I do know that they are still cold this early in the race, so hopefully Hunter can get himself back into this race and run a strong lap. Right now, lap times are looking, best times for Grief currently is 1 minute, 37.263 seconds. He is our race lead, up by 15 seconds, a 15-second lead. That's a massive lead, but we also know that anything can happen, as we learned in our last race on the last lap. We've seen people come back from 40-second deficits to finish second place. But we know, even with this giant lead, we know he's not feeling comfortable. He may feel comfortable with the distance, but the fact that this race is so unpredictable, anything could happen. It's got to be on his mind right now. As we head to second place, Marco is currently running his fastest lap at 1 minute, 32.084 seconds. It's only 2 seconds off from Grief at the moment. He is right. He has the car. He has the team. He's just got to focus. He has the ability to catch up, if not beat Grief. He is the expected winner coming into this. The crowd has voted and has said that he would be the one, assuming that he can get out there and not have another mistake like last time. He has the car, and we expect to see him up in the top half of the racing field at all times. We just got confirmation that the pit lane is now open. You are able to pit. Your pit window is now open. Now, whether or not we're going to see a lot of these drivers take it or not, we're not sure. We've seen drivers lose their tires after about 10 minutes of racing due to track conditions. So whether they choose to pit early and run the risk of having a less traction control due to tire wear, it's up to them. The fuel should not be an issue going into this race, but the tire wear is what's going to make or break a lot of these racers. They've got to remember that even going into these pits, the tire change is also going to result in a colder tire feel to the track. So they are going to slip and slide even on these new sets of tires as soon as they change out. And it looks like Marco is actually going in the pits currently. Marco is pitting. Right now we also have Grief pitting. So this is a chance. If Marco chooses the right set, he may be able to beat Grief off the line. Grief has just confirmed with the officials his pit is over. Ooh, dirty move right there. Nearly hitting Marco on his way out. Marco is now beginning his pit. We have Nicole coming in for her pit as well. Marco has confirmed and is out. He has made up a little bit of time on that run. Now he's just got to hold it. The thing these drivers have to remember are those cold tires. Hunter's now coming in back of the pack to get his pit in and out of the way. Nicole is struggling, did not get the pit off in time. She will have to take another lap around. She seems to be having struggle with the pit, probably a miscommunication with some of her crew. Hunter is confirmed in and out. He had the fastest pit time, under 10 seconds, or under 5 seconds, excuse me. So all drivers have pits except Nicole. She will have to come back around again for a second pass. She lost valuable time on that. But we will see how she plays. Nicole, if you had an issue with your controls, let me know and I'll try to help you. All right, we're heading back up to Grief up in the front, who got a little loose going into this turn. These tires already taking effect. Even though it was an early change, we're seeing these drivers slide around very quickly. If Marco can hold on and, excuse me one moment. If Marco can hold on to his racing line and just hold it steady, he will be able to catch up to Grief. Grief is getting a little too slippery and loose coming out of these turns. Whether or not he wants to continue playing aggressive is his call, but if he does, he can choose to, he could possibly end up spinning out. If he spins out on some of those turns, that gives Marco a wide opening to cross straight through in the first place. Go ahead and bring up Nicole on the radio. Nicole, can you hear us? Seems like we might be having radio problems with contacting Nicole at this time. We'll try to get her when she heads back into pits. Moving back on to Marco, who is currently 15.37 seconds behind the race leader. He seems to be keeping it at approximately 100 to 150 kilometers, not dropping much below there. He's keeping the high RPMs, burning fuel really quickly. Dropping it really low going into these turns, that's a really good idea. As long as he keeps it nice and easy in the turns, he'll be all right. We just had Hunter pass up Nicole. Seems like Nicole might be having a, she actually is in pit currently. Seems like she may have had an issue. Nicole, can you hear us?
Yes.
What happened out there? What's going on?
I'm just having some difficulties for a second.
Got it. Is your car able to be taken back out on the race?
I don't think so.
What happened? We have engine trouble, or is it just?
Hang on a second.
Of course. So we do have Nicole as DNF. She will not finish this race, whether it's mechanical issues or something else going on. We have no idea. We did notice near the end of her run, she was kind of slowing down a bit. She looked like she got into a wall. More than likely something with the steering might have put her into the wall. We did get a truck out there and she was picked up. The vehicle does seem to have some damage to the front end. But they are working on it right now. We'll see if she comes back out or not. As for right now, we are not expecting her to return to this race. Going back to lap times currently, the current fastest lap time is still held by Grief at 1 minute 30.378 seconds. A fantastic time for the track, considering his run. Holding a 10-second lead over Marco. Marco, what he is doing is working. He's slowly catching up to Grief. and he's closing that lead. If Marco continues to drive like he is, Grief is going to have a problem in the next 5 minutes, assuming he doesn't spin out. Assuming he does spin out. Grief seems to have a nice, comfortable hold, but Marco is once again, he's nearly closed in on a second from what I was talking, from when I just started talking, excuse me. So we could have a nice competition coming up here to first place. He's got the line. Right now we have Marco's top time at 1 minute, 31.383 seconds. He is running very well. Up there with race lead, off by about a full second, just about. If he can actually, he just posted a new time. He is running faster than the race lead. His fastest lap was 1 minute 30.144 seconds. That is 2/10 faster than the race lead. He has the speed and is catching up. But is it enough to get him in 4 minutes? Hunter was just in the pits. Let's see if we can get him on radio. Hunter, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
What happened out there? We just saw you in the pits.
Alright, so I thought I was having a fuel issue, but really that was just my mistake there, heading into the pits.
Got it. All right. We're wishing you luck out there. I don't want to take up too much of your time, man. So with Hunter back out on the lead lap, actually, excuse me, his time has been altered on our computer systems. It's showing identical to Marco's, which is not completely true. The data has to be reset. We'll give you an updated time for Hunter as soon as possible. Go ahead and take a look back at Marco currently, who's holding approximately 10 seconds. He's actually climbing. It appears Grief actually spun out. This is Marco's chance within the next 3 minutes to catch up. And he's coming in fast. He's close within 5 seconds of the race lead. If he continues to hold steady, it's going to be a race right at the end, up until the end. But will we see another upset? Will Marco come out first just to spin out again? Will Grief be able to hold on? Who knows? We'll find out. We'll bring you back right after this commercial break. With the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics coming to a close, will most of our athletes let themselves struggle due to the low medal count gathered by the U.S.? Find out later tonight here on YouTube. I want to welcome you all back here to Delta Racing Events, where we're just at 2 minutes left to go in this race. We've had quite a bit happen. Marco is closed in within 2 seconds of Grief currently. And he's gaining extremely quickly. Grief has still not been able to top Marco's top time. This looks like it was actually a spin out by Marco coming out of that last turn. Let's see if we can pull up a map. It appears it was the second to last turn. That's got to be a big blow. Grief is now pulling away yet again, but it seems Marco is somehow pulling back even faster. It's like the guy had nitro installed to his car. We have both Hunter a lap down, and Nicole is currently 3 laps down under the DNF tab. Let's see if we can raise her on radio. Nicole, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Nicole, what happened out there? We heard that you had some mechanical issues or something going on out there. Can you explain what exactly went wrong?
Yeah, I was having some trouble at first getting on radio. I was trying to do that, wasn't really working, and then I ditched that, went to pit. Was having some pit issues, and I left the pit for the first time. Did another lap around, and then I just had some more issues at the pit, and didn't get to come back in. It's unfortunate for me.
It is very unfortunate. We're sorry to hear that, Nicole. We're sure you will be back next. You were running pretty well out there. You had a really good start with those cold tires. It seemed like as soon as they heated up, though, it kind of played into you a little bit, unfortunately. But We'll talk more after the race about it, all right?
All right.
Sorry that had to happen, but good race, good race.
Yep.
We're coming up on our final laps now. 12 seconds left to go in this race time. Grief up in the lead, up by 13 seconds. If this timer runs out before he reaches the finish line, which it looks like it will, it'll end right there. And right now, the official standings, Grief wins his second race in a row here at Delta Racing Events. We want to go ahead and congratulate him for his win, with Marco coming up right now, approximately 11 seconds behind.
Oh, God.
And Marco will finish second place overall. We still got Hunter coming around down by 1 lap. He probably will not meet that minute and a half or minute 20 second
disconnected from your channel.
time limit that you are given right at the end of the race. Checker flag is being waved with a minute 20 seconds left for him to get across that finish line. Because the race standings are sitting right now. We have Grief in first. Marco finishes second. Hunter will finish third. Nicole will finish fourth as a DNF. Fastest lap time will go to Marco with a minute 30.144 seconds on his fastest lap. Let's go ahead and head down and talk to the racers. Marco, can you hear me?
Right here.
Marco, yeah, it was a rough race out there for you, man. You look like you had it so many times just to have it slip away. What happened?
It was very frustrating. Indeed, I got a little bit too aggressive with it. Right as I'd catch up, I'd slip out, usually on the same turns that I wouldn't anticipate from the previous laps. But definitely aggressive this race. I'm glad I hold the highest lap. If that doesn't show how tight I was on trying to catch up, that should boast my aggression right there. I really wanted to catch up to him. I wanted to give the viewers a good race, but we had what we had.
Absolutely. What happened right there at the end? It seemed like you had some boost. Were you sitting reserves for a while?
That's just I started pitting out more aggressive right as I started getting more frustrated as I kept spinning out again and again. I really just started to gun it, and I came up as close as I could really to the leader, giving it everything I had.
Of course. Well, hey, man, tough break out there. You did finish second place, though. Good job on getting the finish this time. And we're looking to see you in the next race here coming up in the next 5 minutes. You guys still have that 5 minutes, I believe it was, 5-minute race, which consists of 2 laps. So I hope to see you guys out there, and we'll go ahead and continue our broadcast once we reach that time. All right? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next racer as we wait for the practice to run down. This is another announcement for the crew and the audience. We are not done. We still have a 5-minute race coming up. This is just a 6-minute
Jake, I pushed it into intermission. I think I have to head out really quick.